I'm Darren Rose, Research and Development Project Manager at Genelec. Welcome to our special UNIO Ecosystem launch event, where we'll be unwrapping UNIO for you and unveiling a Genelec first. But before we explore that further, what exactly is UNIO? I'm guessing you've noticed that it's multifaceted, with the name UNIO now being applied to a mix of Genelec hardware, software and services, and strongly associated with our new 9320 SAM reference controller, which is UNIO's key central bridging device. But why have we created the name UNIO if it isn't a product in itself? It's simple, really. We created UNIO as a concept to help you identify and use the Genelec studio monitors, software and services that offer the deepest possible level of integration and adaptation, a series of elements that work together as an ecosystem to greatly enhance your monitoring experience. What does that mean for you? Well, put simply, by combining UNIO elements, you can achieve the best possible in-room and personal headphone reference monitoring in your space, and get all your in-room monitoring layouts, from stereo to immersive, plus headphones, fully calibrated and tailored to your personal needs, and then aligned with each other. You might be wondering how headphone monitoring can be fully aligned with in-room monitoring. And that's a great question. We assure you we've got the answers coming up very soon. Over to you, Patrick.
Thanks, Darren. For those of you just joining, you're watching a very special UNIO launch event. My name is Patrick, and I'm a sales manager here in Sweden. I'm here to show you our new UNIO personal reference monitoring system. Let's go and meet Aki. Aki, you've been highly involved in creating the UNIO personal reference monitoring concept. UNIO personal reference monitoring represents a big moment in Genelec history, an important new development in audio engineering. What's the story behind it, and how did we get here?
In Genelec, we have been doing loudspeaker-based monitoring for a long time, since the start of the company. We first started by trying to make the monitoring loudspeaker as perfect as possible in order not to change audio. And then the second step after that for loudspeaker monitoring has been to deal with the monitoring space, the room, because each room has its own distinct character. So we took the next step to actually listen to the room and then apply compensations in the monitor in order to remove the room as much as possible in the creation. So we are trying to get rid of these distractions that are changing your understanding of what you have recorded. So that's where we're coming from. This is our angle in all of this. So realizing that loudspeaker-based monitoring, it's like the reference method for monitoring. But at the same time, a lot of the work that people are doing is actually using headphones. So we have another main way of monitoring audio that we would like to make more systematically predictable in the same way as we have been able to do with loudspeaker-based monitoring.
So how does personal reference monitoring bring that same accuracy that you just mentioned?
The key element of this concept is the 9320 reference controller. The 9320 can support a stereo pair of digital or analog connected monitoring loudspeakers, but maybe more importantly, it has a very high quality headphone amplifier built in. And that headphone amplifier has some special features that enable you to increase accuracy of headphone usage. So when you are using 9320, then when you go to these additional controls that allow this personal calibration, you can actually fine-tune the sound character of your headphone to make it as neutral as possible, or to make the headphone sound as similar as possible to your loudspeaker-based monitoring system. So you can align your experience between headphones and loudspeakers when you do this. We have now added another component to the reference situation by bringing in also 8550A monitoring headphone that is paired uniquely with a certain 9320 at the factory.
So Genelec being a speaker manufacturer, we've got the question so many times, why aren't you making headphones?
Yes.
And this is a question that's been ongoing. And I believe we need a reason to make a headphone. So why now? What's the reason?
I would actually like to correct you.
Okay, please.
Because we are not making a headphone here.
Okay.
So we are actually creating an active reference-capable monitoring concept that is using headphones. And in order to do this, we need not only the headphone with certain high-quality characteristics that enable you access to the full content of audio, but we also need the full help of the electronics in 9320 reference controller to help the headphone be perfect. And this is what we are doing at the factory. And what we are selling is not a headphone. We are selling an active monitoring concept that is using headphones. And this is what we call the personal reference monitoring system.
And you talk about calibrating. So you calibrate the headphones?
The way it works is that we take each headphone after we have completed assembling that, and we put it in a calibration station. It measures all the acoustic details of the headphone, and then we have a calibration process that calculates the compensations to render this headphone neutral when you're using it. And we provide this equalization inside a specific 9320 that is paired with this specific headphone. So the headphone has its own serial number, and based on that serial number, an equalizer is selected. It's already actually installed in a 9320 that you receive when you are receiving this PRM package. So out of the box, you have full calibration for the headphone. You have also full calibration for the acoustic measurement microphone that you can use with loudspeakers. It's also included. So your personal reference monitoring solution is able to calibrate your loudspeaker system. It's able to give you a neutral response, neutral audio on the headphone. So it's a perfect starting point for having a well-defined, predictable monitoring situation.
So when I have the 9320 and the headphones, the sound is neutral. But then I've heard about this Aural ID. What extra layer does that do?
Well, Aural ID is a software that renders audio for headphone monitoring. So basically, when you are wearing headphones, audio is appearing inside your head. What you can do with Aural ID is that using your personal head-related transfer function and a bit of calculation, we can render audio personally for you, and this actually moves the audio outside of you as if you were listening to loudspeakers. And it produces the same experience of direction and sound color as you would normally do. When we bring in your way of hearing audio after we have measured your head-related transfer function, we use this in Aural ID app to calculate the audio that we then feed to the headphones using 9320 in order to create this new monitoring situation that is improving your access to all the details of your mix.
And how do I get my HRTF?
We actually have a mobile phone app that is using the camera. So what we do is we take a video around you. So we get a sequence of images that is showing your upper body and details of your external ear. And when we use this sequence of images in the video, then we can actually do some calculations to understand that what is your shape, what is the shape that is the common denominator in all of these different images that we have in the video. By doing this, we can construct a 3D shape of you, and we can calculate how audio sounds at your ears, depending on the different direction of arrival. So this is actually the calculation that we do, and we provide all the different directions of arrival in a file that we can then use as part of this calculation process in Aural ID.
And do I then put it on as a plugin in my DAW, or how do I access it?
We are actually providing this calculation engine as a virtual sound card in Mac computers. So what you do is you install this new sound card software in your Mac, and after that you basically select the input, the source of audio in your Mac where you want to be reproducing from, and then you direct the output to 9320 and onwards to the headphones.
Sounds great.
It's very flexible. I mean, because you can basically use it with any audio software. You could even be using it for processing audio in real time, if you're streaming from somewhere.
Will it provide latency if I choose to monitor through Aural ID?
A bit of latency, like any audio processing. The latency is not really significant for most applications.
How does Aural ID and the Aural ID app add to the precision of my experience?
Aural ID app actually provides you additional steps of personal calibration that you can do. What Aural ID app does, using your HRTF, your head-related transfer function, is that it renders virtual monitors around you. So depending on the number of channels that you're feeding into the app. And in the app, you have additional controls that allow you to increase the precision of this rendering so that you can place each of these monitors individually to where they should be when you're listening to the audio on your headphone. You can also fine-tune the sound character in the app. So it has a very rich set of controls for dealing with whatever headphone you might be using with 9320 in order to render exactly the sound character that you need. This sound character could be maximally neutral, or it could be something that is similar to your reference loudspeaker-based monitoring set. So by using these controls, you can achieve good similarity in the headphone presentation to any loudspeaker presentation that you choose to use as a reference later.
As a conclusion, how would you say that the UNIO personal reference monitoring are going to help me with my monitoring day to day?
Well, I mean, this is the reason why we wanted to take this step. We want to give people mobility, more versatile access to monitoring. So basically, your choice of how you want to monitor audio is now enriched without compromising the accuracy. Loudspeaker-based monitoring still is going to remain as the reference monitoring method, but it's good if we can elevate the precision and reliability and the quality of headphone-based monitoring so that it can be as close as possible to the precision and accuracy of loudspeaker-based monitoring. All of this brings great benefits. Now, firstly, because this reference monitoring solution with 9320 and the headphones, it's very small, compact, light, easy to carry. So if you're a mobile person, if you're doing mobile work, this is the perfect solution in many situations because it allows you to access high-quality monitoring wherever you are. So the environment is going to be less of a factor affecting the quality of work you do. The 8550 headphone provides you excellent access to full dynamic range. It's a closed back design. It provides you about 20 dBs of additional access to dynamic range, particularly if you're working in an environment that has some sound, it has some noise. You're going to be less affected by that without compromising the quality of audio that you hear. And the complete system is giving you full access to experiencing immersive audio that is properly calibrated personally for you in any environment where you might be working in.
Thank you, Aki.
Thank you.
Let's now go to Berlin, where we'll learn more about UNIO for immersive workflows and take a deeper look at our software.
Hey, I'm Eric, Regional Business Development Manager here at Genelec and the owner of this immersive studio in Berlin. I mostly work in immersive music production, and I'm really happy to present this new UNIO solution with the context of immersive audio today. Here in my studio at Immersive Lab, I've got a 7.1.4 smart active monitoring setup, calibrated and controlled by our GLM Loudspeaker Manager software. The system consists of the WAND monitors, W371 adapter woofer stands, two-way SAM monitors for the height layer, and the 9301A multi-channel interface. SAM and GLM, which are also part of UNIO, give immersive engineers like me the huge benefit of precisely and automatically adapting the response of the monitoring system to the room. This is very important in immersive because we are using a large number of loudspeakers at different positions in the room. Every speaker should have the same level and time of flight should be aligned. And the frequency response is adapted to the room acoustics and the positioning. That means SAM and GLM technology enable you to evaluate and mix audio reliably. In my studio, all audio signals are connected digitally using ASEBU. It's important to note that all SAM devices are connected to the GLM management network using standard CAT cables, allowing them to communicate with the GLM software. At the center of the network, we have the 9320A SAM reference controller. For loudspeaker-based immersive monitoring setups, the 9320 essentially serves as physical user interface for GLM to provide a helpful system controller for the engineer, leaving the handling of the immersive audio I/O to another device. In this case, the audio I/O is handled by my DAD AX Center device, and the 9301 is helping by providing expanded channel connectivity for the SAM monitoring system. As I use the 9320, you can see I'm able to quickly switch between different monitoring system layouts. Each group has its own calibration saved in GLM. I have fine control over system volume, including the ability to easily set the system loudness to key industry standards. I can mute the system or dim the volume when needed. I can even enable or disable bass management from here. On the back of the 9320, there are I/O options allowing me to add additional monitoring, like a pair of headphones. You can align the listening experience with the primary monitoring system. Cross-referencing becomes seamless and you can work effectively. The headphone output is reference grade, and the 8550A provides the perfect partner set, which can be used even for immersive workflows, which I'll tell you more about soon. First, I'd like to hand you over to Marcel, who will look a little closer at our GLM calibration software.
Hi, I'm Marcel, Senior Customer Experience Specialist at Genelec, and today I'm here at our Berlin Experience Center. This room has been designed to deliver an extraordinary listening experience from stereo to immersive audio. In this space, you can hear productions mixed in studios like Eric's at the very highest quality level regarding resolution and imaging. Every room has its own unique dimensions and acoustics, and the placement of loudspeaker monitors is never exactly the same. The challenges caused by these differences in monitoring rooms are the reason why our Genelec loudspeaker manager software, so-called GLM, plays such an important role in making UNIO a highly accurate monitoring solution. We always want to ensure that mixes translate well to other rooms and playback systems. Our smart active monitors and subwoofers, which are also part of UNIO and often referred to as SAM monitors, all have built-in DSP filters for room adaptation. And GLM allows you to take full advantage of this. GLM uses our measurement microphone to record sweep signals from all speakers and subwoofers. It then analyzes the results and automatically calculates settings to compensate for the unwanted influences of the room. The frequency response, sound level, and time of flight of every SAM monitor and subwoofer in your setup is then optimized for your listening position. This GLM correction for room influences and system placement combines with the highest quality of acoustical design and components provided by SAM monitors to give you the ability to create what we call true sonic reference. You can trust your monitoring in any space in which you choose to work. Our unique Great Room Acoustics report can give you a deep insight into your room acoustics and helps you assess physical studio improvements. GLM5 fully supports all of our SAM monitoring devices, even as far back as our legacy models from 2006. For those of you working with large multi-channel setups, GLM not only aligns the system, but allows you to control our system management devices, like the 9401, which provides audio over IP support and advanced bass management. GLM5 is also a great software monitor controller, and you can use any standard MIDI device to operate it externally. Eric already showed the 9320A SAM reference controller. With GLM, you can configure and tailor its functionality to streamline and boost your own personal workflow style. When the serial number of the 8550 is entered, its specific factory calibration file is loaded, giving you a perfectly precise basis for monitoring using headphones. A flexible EQ tool allows you to adjust the tonal balance to suit your needs. Importantly, this enables you to match the listening experience on your 8550s to your in-room loudspeaker monitoring system for a consistent workflow, as Eric described before. GLM can detect if you are using our Aural ID standalone app. When you are monitoring through it, it will automatically bypass it the moment you are using your in-room loudspeaker system. When you select the headphones output on the 9320, it will be in the signal path for a precise binauralized playback. Let's now check back in with Eric for a look at how Aural ID works in Immersive.
Welcome back. Let's get back to Immersive, this time working over headphones, using Aural ID version 2. I'm using the 8550 and it's connected to my reference controller. I can listen to any of the analog or digital inputs of the 9320 or USB audio straight from my computer. Aural ID allows me to send binaural playback to headphones and monitor it as accurately as possible. This is thanks to the precise personal HRTF we create for you. Aural ID offers a virtual representation of an in-room monitoring system, from stereo up to large immersive systems. The personal HRTF optimizes the experience for your hearing system, mainly the shape of your ears, your head, and your upper torso. You can experience externalization that was previously only possible to access with loudspeaker-based monitoring systems. Importantly, Aural ID now supports head tracking, so as you move your head, it will keep the virtual in-room monitors in the correct position, relative to you. This helps to give you a very precise sense of localization when evaluating or mixing multi-channel audio. Aural ID 2 also works as a standalone app, which allows you to integrate it into your workflow in new ways, outside of your DAW. With Aural ID 2 and UNIO, you can, for example, switch over to headphones for approving a binaural mix, or to lay the groundwork for an immersive mix before you even enter the studio. Now, let's get back to Isalmi.
Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure to present our new offering to you, and we hope you've been inspired by the possibilities for optimizing your workflow, leading to faster-made and better-sounding audio productions that your listeners will love. But now it's time for us to wrap up this launch event. Thank you so much for joining us. Please make sure to head over to genelec.com/UNIO for more information about the whole UNIO ecosystem. See you again.